Imagine turning the key, giving the throttle a blip, and your car answers with a deep, rich growl that sounds way more expensive than the hardware under the bumper. In this video, the goal is simple. Find the best exhaust tip for deep sound so you can transform your car's voice without dropping thousands on a full exhaust system. We're counting down from 7 to 1, and by the end, you'll know exactly which tip is worth your money, which ones to avoid, and which single upgrade can give you that low, aggressive tone you've been chasing. 7. NETAMI Carbon Fiber Exhaust Tip. The NETAMI, a piece that immediately stands out for its looks more than anything else. This tip combines a stainless steel inner body with a real carbon fiber outer shell, finished in a glossy weave that gives it that high-end tuner vibe. You get the visual of a premium aftermarket exhaust without touching the rest of your system, which is perfect if you want your rear end to look like something off a European performance car. The carbon fiber also has UV protection, so it is designed not to fade or yellow easily over time, even if the car lives outside. In terms of size, the NETAMI NT2552 is built around a 2.5-inch inlet with a wider 4-inch outlet, which gives the tip that beefy filled-out look in the bumper cutout. That flare from 2.5 to 4 inches helps visually amplify the system and can slightly deepen the tone by giving the exhaust gases a larger exit chamber. Installation is fairly straightforward thanks to the included custom clamp, so you don't necessarily need to weld it on if you're just testing the waters with exhaust mods. It's meant as a universal fit for vehicles with compatible pipe diameters, which opens it up to a wide range of cars. When it comes to sound, the NETAMI tip does add a subtle deepening, but it is not a full resonator or muffler replacement, so the change is more of a refinement than a dramatic transformation. Number 6. YITAMOTOR Exhaust Tip. The YITAMOTOR, which takes us a little closer to functional sound tuning while still staying in that bolt-on DIY-friendly territory. This tip is designed with an adjustable inlet that can work with pipes from about 1.5 to 2.5 inches, making it very flexible if you're not entirely sure of your exact exhaust pipe size, or if you want something that can potentially move from one vehicle to another. The body itself is made from stainless steel and stretches to about 9 inches in length with a 4-inch outlet, giving it enough volume to slightly influence tone. The stainless steel construction means you get good resistance to rust and general road wear, which is especially important if you live in an area with rain, snow, or salted roads. The finish leans more toward a clean, polished look than a flashy, burnt tip style, so it suits daily drivers and work trucks that want a tougher look without shouting for attention. YITAMOTOR markets this as a professional diesel exhaust tip, and that extended length helps give larger engines a more finished exit and a more focused sound path. Sound-wise, you will notice a deeper note compared to a tiny factory pipe simply dumping underneath the bumper, especially on diesels or bigger gasoline engines. The internal shape directs the exhaust flow and can generate a slightly more pronounced low-frequency presence, giving your rig a more serious idle and more satisfying punch when you get on the throttle. 5. KARCK Exhaust Tip. The KARCK brings a more serious, heavy-duty vibe to the table, especially with its larger configurations like a 5-inch inlet and big outlet sizes aimed at trucks and performance builds. This tip is constructed from stainless steel and finished in a polished surface that looks clean and aggressive at the back of a pickup or SUV. It's designed with a single-exit, single-wall construction, which keeps the weight reasonable while still delivering a substantial presence. The brand emphasizes a 100% accuracy of fit for the specified sizes, making it a more purpose-built piece than a vague, universal pipe. In terms of sound, the KARCK tip starts to get more interesting if you're working with a larger displacement engine or a diesel setup. The big inlet and even larger outlet give the exhaust gases plenty of space to expand, which tends to deepen the tone and take some edge off any harshness. On a stock system, that can translate into a fuller, more muscular sound without veering into obnoxious territory. On a slightly modified system, it helps bring out the low-end rumble you want from a truck or SUV. The polished stainless finish not only helps with looks, but also adds to durability, resisting corrosion and surface rust when properly maintained. Because this is a single wall design, you get a direct, raw look without extra layers, which some enthusiasts actually prefer since it feels more mechanical and less decorative. Number 4. TriTrust Exhaust Tip. The TriTrust starts to blend adjustability, build quality, and sound shaping in a way that steps up from the simpler bolt-ons lower on the list. This tip is designed to fit exhaust pipes between roughly 2.75 and 3 inches, with an adjustable inlet and a 3.5-inch outlet. That gives it a nice balance. Large enough to look sporty and allow a deeper note, but not so oversized that it looks out of place on smaller vehicles. The overall length sits at around 8 inches, which is a sweet spot for influencing sound without hanging awkwardly long out the back. The TriTrust tip uses stainless steel and a bolt-on design, making installation relatively simple with basic hand tools. That adjustability at the inlet means you can dial in a snug, centered fit over a range of pipe diameters, which is particularly useful if you're working on a used vehicle where the pipe may not be perfectly round anymore. The finish is clean and modern, and when installed correctly, it gives the back of the car a more refined performance look without going overboard. When it comes to sound, this is where the TriTrust tip becomes more compelling. The internal diameter and outlet sizing help emphasize low-frequency tones, especially on 4-cylinder and V6 engines that can sometimes sound a bit thin with a basic tip. On deceleration and light throttle, you'll notice a fuller, more mature tone, and the slightly constricted inlet expanding to a 3.5-inch outlet encourages a smoother, less raspy note. 3. LCGP Exhaust Tip. The LCGP, specifically the 2.5-inch inlet to 4-inch outlet design, with an extended overall length around 17 to 18 inches. This tip is made from stainless steel and typically comes in a chrome-plated finish, giving it a classic bright performance look. The key here is the combination of a relatively small inlet, a large outlet, and a long body, which together create a more pronounced effect on exhaust tone than shorter, purely cosmetic tips. The design uses a rolled edge and a slant or angle cut outlet, which not only looks aggressive, but also helps shape how the sound exits behind the car. Inside, that long chamber gives the exhaust pulses more space to resonate, and the result is a deeper, more mature note, especially when paired with a mildly opened-up exhaust system. LCGP also includes practical touches like a drainage hole to let condensation escape, which helps prevent internal rust and extends the life of the tip. In real-world use, this tip does more than just tweak the sound. It can significantly enrich it. On small turbo engines, it takes the edge off high-pitched tones and brings in more bass, while on naturally aspirated setups, it adds a subtle growl that feels more like a performance exhaust than a stock system with a shiny chrome tip. The length plays a major role here, as the 17 to 18-inch body gives exhaust gases enough distance inside the tip to deepen and smooth the note before exiting. 2. Upower Universal Diesel Trucks Car Exhaust Tip. The Upower Universal Diesel Trucks Car Exhaust Tip is a serious piece of hardware aimed at bigger setups, with a 4-inch inlet and a massive 6-inch outlet and an overall length of around 15 inches. This is the kind of tip you put on a diesel truck, full-size SUV, or a heavily modified rig where you really want the rear end to look and sound dominant. It's made from stainless steel and often comes in either a polished or black finish, giving you the choice between classic chrome style or stealthy aggression. The design uses a rolled edge and a 45-degree single-angle cut, which not only looks great, but also helps direct sound slightly away from the cabin, reducing harshness inside, while still projecting that deep note outward. Because of the large internal volume, this tip allows exhaust pulses to expand significantly before exiting, which naturally enhances low-frequency tones and takes some sharpness off higher-pitched noise. On a diesel, that translates into a throatier, more muscular rumble, especially under load. In practice, installing this Upower tip can completely change the character of a truck's sound when paired with even a mildly opened exhaust. The large outlet gives an immediate visual statement, but more importantly, The long, wide chamber acts almost like a mini resonator, smoothing and deepening the exhaust note. You get that distinctive, heavy truck presence when idling at a light and a strong, baritone roar when accelerating onto the highway. Number 1. Evil Energy Exhaust Muffler Universal. The Evil Energy Universal Exhaust Muffler. And this is where the game really changes if your priority is deep sound. Unlike most of the other items on this list, this isn't just a cosmetic tip. It's a straight-through style muffler with an integrated exhaust tip, designed from the ground up to tune the sound of your system. It's built from stainless steel, typically around 14.6 to 15 inches long, with inlet and outlet sizes like a 2-inch inlet and 3-inch outlet, and often features a burnt tip finish that screams performance. Inside, the Evil Energy muffler uses a straight-through design with excellent quality sound-absorbing packing. That means exhaust gases flow through a perforated core, surrounded by packing material that soaks up harsh, high-frequency noise while allowing the deep, low tones to resonate. The result is exactly what most enthusiasts want: a deep, low tone that sounds rich and powerful, with added sound through reverberation rather than obnoxious rasp. It's specifically described as a resonator-style muffler that enhances depth, not just volume. On the road, this translates into a night-and-day difference compared to a stock system with only a cosmetic tip. At idle, you get a smooth, bass-heavy hum that hints at performance without sounding cheap. As you climb through the revs, the note builds into a strong, satisfying growl that makes even smaller engines feel more serious. On setups with freer-flowing downpipes and headers, it adds character while still avoiding the overly tinny or fart can sound that many cheap mufflers produce. Final thought. So if you're just chasing looks with a bit of tone, the options earlier in the list will do the job, especially on trucks and diesel setups. But if you really want to unlock that deep, resonant exhaust note that turns heads for the right reasons, the Evil Energy Universal Muffler at number 1 is the upgrade that makes the most dramatic difference to how your car sounds every time you hit the throttle.